everybody. Welcome to our video version of Search the Scriptures. We're on Study 7 in Deuteronomy. It's been a week or more since I've been doing this because I went to Brazil, South America for 2 weeks and kind of got out of the rhythm a little bit. But let's jump right back into study number 7 in the book of Deuteronomy. And in this study, we are going to cover chapter 7 of Deuteronomy and attempt to answer 4 different questions. The first question is this: in what 4 ways were the Israelites to deal with the idolatrous inhabitants of Canaan? And what points regarding the Christian's duty of separation from sin and the world do these 4 ways illustrate? Second question, in verses 6 through 11, what are the 3 reasons that God gives for the people to take such drastic attitude, and what New Testament principles correspond to this? And third, in verses 12 through 16, what 3 blessings does God promise will attend the faithful pursuit of this policy, and what blessings are promised in the New Testament to the Christian who practices spiritual separation? And the last question, in verses 18 through 26, how does God answer the question of verse 17, and what does this teach about the power given to the Christian to be separate? Well, let's look at Deuteronomy chapter number 7 together, beginning with the very first verse. When the Lord your God brings you into the land that you are entering to possess, and he drives out before you many nations, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations larger and stronger than you. And when the Lord your God has delivered them over to you, and you have defeated them, then you must destroy them totally. Make no treaty with them. Show them no mercy. Don't intermarry with them. Don't give your daughters to their sons, or take their daughters for your sons. For they will turn your sons away from following me to serve other gods, and the Lord's anger will burn against you and will quickly destroy you. This is what you're to do to them: break down their altars, smash their sacred stones, cut down their Asherah poles, and burn their idols in the fire. For you are a people holy to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you out of all the peoples on the earth to be his people, his treasured possession. The Lord did not set his affection on you and choose you because you were more numerous than other peoples, for you were the fewest of all the peoples. But it was because the Lord loved you and kept the oath he swore to your forefathers that he brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you from the land of slavery and from the power of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Know therefore that the Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and keep his commands. But those who hate him he will repay to their face by destruction. He will not be slow to repay to their face those who hate him. Therefore take courage to follow the commands, decrees, and the laws that I give you today. If you pay attention to these laws and are careful to follow them, then the Lord your God will keep his covenant of love with you, as he swore to your forefathers. And he will love you and bless you and increase your numbers, and he will bless the fruit of your womb, the crops of your land, your grain, new wine, and oil, the calves of your herds and the lambs of your flocks, in the land that he swore to your forefathers to give you. You will be blessed more than any other people. None of your men or women will be childless. None of your livestock will go without young. The Lord will keep you free from every disease. He will not inflict on you the horrible diseases that you knew in Egypt, but he will inflict them on all who hate you. You must destroy all the peoples the Lord your God gives over to you. Do not look on them with pity, and don't serve their gods, for that will be a snare to you. You may say to yourselves, these nations are stronger than we are. How can we drive them out? Don't be afraid of them. Remember well what the Lord your God did to Pharaoh and all of Egypt. You saw with your own eyes the great trials, the miraculous signs and wonders, the mighty hand and the outstretched arm with which the Lord your God brought you out. The Lord your God will do the same to all the peoples that you now fear. Moreover, the Lord your God will send the hornet among them until even the survivors who hide from you have perished. Don't be terrified by them, for the Lord your God who is among you is a great and awesome God. The Lord your God will drive out those nations before you little by little. You will not be allowed to eliminate them all at once, or the wild animals will multiply around you. But the Lord your God will deliver them over to you, throwing them into great confusion until they are destroyed. He will give their kings into your hand, and you will wipe out their names from under heaven, and no one will be able to stand up against you. You will destroy them. The images of their gods you are to burn in the fire. Do not covet the silver and the gold on them, and do not take it for yourselves, or you will be ensnared by it, for it is detestable to the Lord your God. Don't bring a detestable thing into your house, or you, like it, will be set apart for destruction. Utterly abhor and detest it, for it is set apart for destruction. Well, let's look at the 4 questions now from Deuteronomy chapter number 7. First of all, in what 4 ways were the Israelites to deal with the idolatrous inhabitants of Canaan, and what points regarding the Christian's duty of separation from sin and the world do they illustrate? Well, when Israel entered the promised land, they were to deal with the idolatrous inhabitants by, first of all, destroying them completely. Secondly, by making no treaty with them. Third, by not intermarrying with them. And fourth, by smashing their altars and their idols. This same attitude is reflected in the New Testament, where we are told not to be unequally yoked with unbelievers, and we're also warned that to be a friend of the world is to be an enemy of God. Second question, in verses 6 through 11, what 3 reasons does God give for the people for taking such a drastic attitude? And what New Testament principles correspond to this? Well, the 3 reasons that God gives the people for taking such drastic action against the idolatrous inhabitants were these. First of all, they were called to be holy. In other words, to be separate. They were chosen by God over all the other nations. And finally, failure to obey God would result in judgment against them. The New Testament refers to this as being called out to be a peculiar people, a chosen people, a holy nation, called out to be different from the world so as to display the glory of God. Third question, in verses 12 through 16, what 3 blessings does God promise will attend the faithful pursuit of this type of policy, and what blessings are promised in the New Testament to the Christian that practices spiritual separation? Well, God promises to bless those that faithfully pursue His will by, first of all, increasing their numbers, secondly, making their crops to be productive, and their livestock, and finally, causing them to be free of disease. The New Testament promises sonship to those that separate themselves from the world. The sons, we become sons and daughters of God, and the sons and daughters of God are heirs to the eternal promises of God. And finally, 4th question in verses 18 through 26, how does God answer their question of verse 17, and what does this teach about the power given to the Christian to be separate? Question in verse 17, how are we going to drive out these people? Well, God drives out our enemies by His mighty hand. We only need to wait in obedience for Him to drive the enemies out before us. The power to be separate from the world comes from God. It doesn't reside within ourselves. Within ourselves, our righteousness is as a filthy rags, but with Him, all things are possible. I hope this study has been a blessing to you. It's great to be back from Brazil and back doing these video studies once again. Hope it's a blessing. God bless. Have a fantastic rest of your day.